Ernie's top 5 of 2013, take 7. Let's start off with number 5, which I think is the postponement of Icon 32. As for almost everybody on our staff, Icon was the first convention that we've ever gone to, and it's our home convention, being based here on Long Island, New York. So it was a little devastating to find out that they canceled the convention due to a number of reasons. One was money. Icon didn't have enough of it. Number 2 was probably venues, I would say, because Stony Brook was the usual venue was Stony Brook University, and they're renovating their gym, which is where the dealer's room is, and they couldn't be there anymore. If they didn't have the dealer's room, they didn't have anything. And then finally, I think Hurricane Sandy had a lot to do with it, because due to Hurricane Sandy and other priorities taking place, 2 members of the board of directors had to resign, along with the con chair for 32. So yeah, I think that's definitely a big deal there if you think about it. Hopefully in 2014 they have 2 conventions planned, L-Icon and Icon. So I hope that at least those go through. Number 4 on my list is the BBYO versus Katsucon. Now, for those who don't know what BBYO is, it's a Jewish youth organization, and every year they have a convention where they fly teams from all around the world to converge into one city. And this year it was in Washington, D.C. at the Gaylord Resort where Katsucon was happening. And a lot like what happened with Anime Boston a couple of years ago, when you double book a place, there's going to be some tension that happens. And there was definitely some tension between the 2 organizations. I think the boiling point is when where the gazebo was banned. That area, the gazebo area, was banned for anybody wearing a Katsucon badge. Like, nobody could go on. I didn't even think, like, even regular hotel members couldn't go on that level there. So yeah, that was kind of a big thing. And I think after enough complaints, all of them just finally said, all right, we'll share the space with everybody. There's a shared agreement there. So I think that was one thing there. Another one was the teasing from the BBYO towards Katsu. I'm sure there was some from Katsu to BBYO, but I heard a lot more from BBYO to Katsu, and you can't really, it's like, you know, a lot of people in the cosplay community are already mean to each other, so I think adding an outside source to it makes it worse. So you know, BBYO learned their lesson. Eventually both organizations sent out letters to the general public saying whatever mismanagement, whatever happened, we apologize for it. And actually, due to $10,000 worth of damages to the facility, BBYO has been banned from Gaylord. So they're in Dallas next year, so I hope that's what I read. I don't know if it's true or not, but unless that's what I remember, but it doesn't matter. It was still a pretty big story, and hopefully next year Katsucon will be a lot better. It'll be even more packed out as it was. Granted, you know, not to say anything bad about the BBYO, people were nice. They were the attendees of BBYO were nice, and they even got lots of pictures of all the people, all the cosplayers. Number 3 on my list, speaking of Katsucon, that was our first convention after Sandy, and I think the whole of Katsu was my number 3 moment, because it was our first convention since Dragon Con. So we went October, November, December, January, February, 5 months without a convention, and for us that's a really long time. And plus also we still had the stress from Hurricane Sandy on our shoulders. Like, Chrissy wasn't living in her house, Sam wasn't living at her place, was living at a hotel. I think Lee moved back in. My house, I live alone. When I used to live during Sandy, I lived right along the beach. Thank God my house was fine, but my basement was flooded. We had no power, we had no heat for a couple of days, or no, a couple of weeks. It was definitely a while. So we're happy and grateful for that. But at least with Katsucon, we were able to have fun, let go, and relax. And that was one of the best things about it. You know, we played pranks on each other. We found Ricardo's love of feet. So we talked about Neopets, we talked about Dragon Ball Z Abridged, so it's just sort of, we had a lot of fun there. We let go and we just had a blast. When we got back to Long Island, we worried about Long Island problems, but for one weekend, we just thought about nothing else but Katsucon, having fun, and just playing jokes on each other. Anyways, alright, so that was my number 3. Number 2 on my list was Chris swimming with the whale sharks in Atlanta, which I'm thinking about doing for next year at Dragon Con. It was, the thing with Chris is that we all pitched up together. I think about a good 15, 20 of us pitched in money to pay for Chris's shark dive for the aquarium. Now, the funny thing about that is that during that time, before he went to Dragon Con, he had kidney stones, and then after Dragon Con, he got kidney stones. So it's sort of, it was a nice window of opportunity there, and knowing the kid ever since 1997, when we met in our freshman year of high school, in our English class, by the way, and it was good to tell him, it's like, dude, we paid for your vacation. Well, not really paid for his vacation, but we paid for his shark dive at the aquarium for his 30th birthday, and I've seen the biggest grin on his face, and he's like, you guys are awesome. Thank you. And I was like, the real person you should be thanking is Chrissy, who set it all up together. She's good at that. Yeah, she's really good at setting everything up together. So, but yeah, that was just that was an awesome moment. We got to see him swim with the sharks. He tried it. What it is that when you're in the tank, you're supposed to have a little hand signal. His hand signal was this. Before it was going to be this. We couldn't find him in the tank. You know how long it took us? So at least he told us, okay, at least he looked at every one of us. I think there was 5 of us at the time. There was 5 of us there. And when he looked at each and every one of us and gave a response if we looked at him. So, we don't know. Next time, we don't need this or this. Maybe we'll do something like, like this or like this or something, whatever it's gonna be. So, but yeah, that was a fun time. Chris had a lot of fun with that. And then my number 1 moment was definitely involving this little guy right here. For probably those who know now, I've gotten a Steadicam, or actually this is a Glidecam, and we have done these babies right here, the cosplay music videos, which are super easy to do. They're super fun to do. I think cosplayers love it because it's better than asking for a 2-minute interview with them, which we still want to do. And it's a lot of fun. And then, because I've always loved making music videos. I've done it ever since I started making these. And it's a blast. I have 2 favorite ones that are on my list. It's the Kings and Queens one from Katsucon 2013. I love that one because I think that song fits that convention to a T. That was the first one I ever tried out, so it was. You can definitely tell if you check out the Katsucon one, and then move on over to the latest one that we did for AUSA. I think a Live by Koella. You can definitely see the evolution of what we've done, and we finally got it right. Or I think we got it right. I don't know. But yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. And then my second one was the one that I did at Otakon, set to My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark by Fall Out Boy. And that was a cool one because it was the first time I ever had an individual shoot. Like an individual photo shoot, video shoot, whatever it was with different cosplayers. And it was with Sam's friend Brittany, and then her 2 friends, Jar, I think that's what her name was. I know her name pronunciation wasn't the same as the spelling. I think that's what it was. So she was there. She was the martial artist. She was cool, and also Hillary. So that was a fun time because we came up. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was like, I'm the type of guy who likes to bounce ideas off of others, so that was a very, very cool thing to do. And it was like, I had a ton of fun doing it. We had lots of fun performing for all the people waiting in line there at Otakon. I forgot which concert it was, but yeah, that was a fun one. We definitely had a blast. So it's, yeah, so thanks to this baby. Thank you for giving me my number 1 moment of 2013. So, alright. Yeah, that's weird.